Alright, so you guys are always asking for it. You're always asking me, Andy, can you do some non-rum-centric tiki cocktails? And sure, I can. There's not a ton of them because, well, rum happens to be the main spirit in tiki. And then secondly, gin, which I've done a bunch of gin videos as well. However, today I figured I'd venture a little bit out of that realm. Plus, today happens to be Dia De Los Muertos, so why not use some mezcal? So today on the channel, we're gonna be making an Oaxacan Dead. I'm Andy, this is Easy Tiki Drinks, and let's do this. Alright, so today is Dia De Los Muertos. Yesterday was Halloween, so I figured I needed a tiki cocktail that kind of spoke to both of those holidays. So I did some digging, and I happened to come across the Oaxacan Dead, which was created by Ethan Armstrong of the now shuttered Deep Ellum here in Boston, Mass. What is an Oaxacan Dead? Now, some of you may be familiar with the name, and the version that you may have in your head may be different than what I'm gonna show you today. So let's see what we're gonna need to make this Oaxacan Dead, and we'll talk about it a little more. For this cocktail, you are gonna need Joven Mezcal, Apricot Liqueur, Falernum, lime juice, Peychaud bitters, and orange bitters. So there you have it. Now, those may seem a little bit different than the typical build that you're used to. And let me explain. This is the original cocktail that Ethan wanted to put on the Deep Ellum menu when they first opened. When they first opened, they wanted to do a tiki menu. But due to some setbacks and some other things, that menu never saw the light of day. However, this cocktail was on that menu. So, where did Ethan take the inspiration for this cocktail from? Well, he wanted to build it off a zombie. But wait, Andy, those ingredients other than the Falernum have nothing to do with zombies. And you're right, they have nothing to do with the 1934 zombie. However, Ethan pulled inspiration from the 1941 zombie that was found in W.C. Whitfield's book, Here's How, which contained apricot liqueur. There is where the inspiration came from, and that is why this one has apricot liqueur. So this is kind of like the Oaxacan Dead 1.0. Now, if you had ever visited Deep Ellum and you got an Oaxacan Dead, chances are it was vastly different than the build I'm gonna do today. That was most likely the 2.0 version, where Ethan basically took the 1934 zombie, swapped out some of the main spirits, like the rum, for mezcal and tequila. And that's the one we're most familiar with nowadays. But I wanted to show you kind of the original version, the OG, if you will, of the Oaxacan Dead. So let's build this cocktail, I'll sip on it, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. So in a mixing glass, you will add 2 dashes of orange bitters, 2 dashes of Peychaud bitters, a half an ounce or 15 mils of lime juice, a half an ounce or 15 mils of Falernum, a half an ounce or 15 mils of apricot liqueur, and 1.5 ounces or 45 mils of Joven Mezcal. Add some crushed ice to your mixing glass. Give it a nice little shake for about 5 to 8 seconds. You're gonna grab your double rocks glass and open pour in. I'm gonna top it off with some more crushed ice. And then for a garnish, we're gonna go with a mint sprig, a dehydrated lime wheel, and a Surfside sip straw. So there you have it. Ethan Armstrong's Oaxacan Dead. Let's give it a try and see how it tastes. So on the palate, right up front, we get the smoke from the mezcal. Now, Ethan does go to say, actually use a smoky mezcal. And in a little bit, I'll talk about some of my choices here and why I chose those things. But anyway, let's continue down this palate tasting notes. There we go. Next up, that smoke kind of falls through to the kind of clove and ginger from the Falernum. The apricot liqueur is doing a nice job of adding some sweetness to this cocktail because there are no sweeteners. If you notice, there's no syrups. Kind of weird, right? Yeah, a little bit. But we're getting a lot of that sweetness from the Falernum and the apricot liqueur. And then we kind of get this kind of like bitter back note from the Peychaud and from the orange bitters. Why did I choose some of these bottles? So for my Joven Mezcal, I am using La Luna Cupereta. This is a nice, mild kind of mezcal that I really enjoy. It doesn't have an overpoweringly smoky flavor. Now you could go with something like a Del Maguey Vida, which is great and tons of smoke. However, I always get like a burnt tire fire from that smoke. So I really like the smoke that the La Cupereta kind of gives you. For my apricot liqueur, I'm going with Gerard. Now, Ethan does recommend Rothman in winter, but I happen to have the Gerard on hand, so that's what I'm going with. My Falernum is my homemade Falernum number 9. You could sub it out with something like a Velvet Falernum from John D. Taylor, but I don't think it's gonna have as much complexity in this cocktail because I find that the John D. Taylor does fall a little flat compared to something like a homemade number 9. Which, by the way, I will do a video on this. I'm almost out of this bottle, so when I do run out, I'll make a new batch and I'll make sure to get it on camera. Anyway, that's it for today's video. This is a wonderful cocktail. It is reminiscent of a zombie, but slightly different and definitely kind of goes into that mezcal agave spirit realm. So if that's something you really enjoy, I highly recommend making this. Thanks so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, click that little notification bell so you know when I make new videos. Head on over to Instagram and TikTok. I just posted a new TikTok over there at Easy Tiki Drinks, because I'm posting a ton of content on both of those as well. Thanks so much for watching, and go enjoy your Dia De Los Muertos and the rest of November. We've got Thanksgiving coming up, so be prepared for some Thanksgiving tiki cocktails? Is that a thing? We're gonna make it a thing. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and until next time, take it easy.